Halo Infinite has been at the forefront of Xbox players' minds and really the games industry as a whole for quite some time now. After the mixed reception to both Halo 4 and Halo 5 Guardians, 343 Industries needed to show that they are in fact capable of producing a Halo game that is worthy of the legacy passed down to them from Bungie. The pressure was increased following the overwhelmingly poor reception to last year's initial gameplay reveal, which resulted in the game being delayed for over a year. After playing the recent multiplayer preview for around about 6 hours, I am confident in saying that 343 has managed to hit the nail on the head. Right off the bat, it's clear that 343 has definitely addressed one of the biggest concerns that people had, the graphics. Even at this early stage in development, Halo Infinite is one of the most graphically impressive games in the franchise, making it clear that the extra year of polish has definitely paid off. From the gorgeous sky to the detailed textures and reflections in puddles, I think you would be hard pressed to find anyone who still says the game looks bad. Of course, since this is still a pre-release version of the game, some more polish is needed as there are plenty of visual artifacts, but in my opinion nothing to be overly worried about since we are still a couple months out from launch. The other big concern was how multiplayer would feel, and it's safe to say that 343 definitely has something special here. From the moment you take your first step in a match, it's clear that this is Halo multiplayer. During the preview, we had access to a few big team battle modes, including Capture the Flag, my personal favourite Slayer, and the brand new mode Total Control. In this mode, 3 control points appear at random locations on the map, and in order to score, your team needs to capture all 3 of them. Once a team has captured all 3 points, the location of the 3 zones will change. If you've played any similar mode in other first-person shooters, you'll be familiar with how this one works. I found that the control points all spawn quite close to each other sometimes, which I didn't like since it was easy to be overwhelmed. That being said, Total Control was still quite fun, even if I lost 2 of the 3 matches I played. I enjoyed this mode as it forced me to actually think about what I was doing, rather than just switching my brain off and mindlessly killing people. There were other modes available to choose from, including Arena Capture the Flag and Arena Slayer. However, I was unfortunately not able to access these modes for unknown reasons. I only spent time with the big team battle modes during the preview, which were only played on the map Fragmentation. It actually reminded me a lot of Valhalla, a map from previous games in the series, mainly due to how it's designed, as well as the 2 large towers on either side of the map that act as the initial spawn points for both teams. Overall, I liked the way Fragmentation was designed. I didn't encounter any easily campable spots or areas that weren't fun to play in, and it calls back to some of the best things about Halo multiplayer maps. Tight corners, elevated areas to get the drop on your enemy, and well thought out design for both on-foot and vehicular combat all make for extremely fun matches that nobody can predict the outcome of until it's too late. Even though this was the only map that I got to play on, it gave me confidence that the rest of Infinite's maps will be just as well designed.
One of ours is capturing the zone.
As is standard for the series, various weapons, grenades and equipment periodically spawn at different points across the map. Every time you spawn, you start with 2 frag grenades, but both plasma and spike grenades, as well as the new arc grenade, can be found if you look around. However, by default you don't spawn with any equipment. The Halo series is known for its weaponry, and in Infinite you'll find a large variety of weapons, both new and returning. Weapons such as the Heatwave, Ravager and Commando are all making their first appearance in the series, and are all quite fun to use. I particularly like the Heatwave as it fires some sort of energy ammo, and pressing the left trigger to aim switches the weapon's firing orientation from horizontal to vertical and back. I also had a huge amount of fun with the battle rifle. This scoped 3-burst weapon feels and sounds just as good as in previous games, and I'm very happy to see it so well implemented. Something I didn't enjoy was that the rocket launcher seems to have received a huge buff when it comes to splash damage. There were multiple times I was killed by rockets that landed nowhere near when I was standing. To be fair, my perception of this could be skewed as a result of me not being used to the game. Armor abilities return as well, now called equipment, and there are some new additions to use. Active camo and overshield make their return, but I have to say I am extremely fond of the new drop wall, which throws down a shield to protect you from incoming fire. Also new is the grapple shot, which I found had fairly short range but was fun to use, the repulsor, which can be used to deflect some incoming projectiles, and the threat sensor, which alerts you to enemies within range of it. The use of equipment makes for fun combat encounters. Take Capture the Flag for example. While defending your team's flag, One person could throw down a drop wall to secure one point of entry, while another person uses the repulsor to deflect incoming plasma pistol fire from another. An enemy warthog drives by with someone on the turret? No problem. Just have one of your teammates use the grapple shot to hook the enemy on the turret and kick him off, then take out the rest of the enemy team with their own firepower. There are a number of ways encounters can play out in Infinite thanks to the variety of weapons and equipment, which make matches even more enjoyable. Another thing I wasn't a huge fan of was the length of time it takes to respawn when killed. This isn't a new addition to multiplayer in Halo, but previously it took around 3 to 5 seconds to respawn, and some of the time it was taking as long as 10 seconds in Infinite. This might not sound like a huge deal, but you really notice that you were taken out of the action for what I would say is a significant amount of time. This also extends to the time it takes to load into matches, so hopefully both of these issues are improved by launch. A limited number of vehicles were available for use during the preview, all of which are returning from previous entries in the series. Both aerial and ground vehicles were available, but I only spent time with the ground ones. I will say that the driving experience as a whole was enjoyable, but could do with a little more fine tuning, as I found it quite difficult to get around corners without my vehicle overturning. One thing I found annoying is that it's now significantly more difficult to turn the Ghost while boosting, due to the movement feeling much stiffer, like you're locked in a straight line. After playing this early build of multiplayer in Halo Infinite, I am excited to get my hands on the final product. The improvements to the graphics are significant, and above all else, 343 Industries have managed to do the thing that people have been asking for years, to build something that feels like Halo. As it stands, 343 is on the right track to redemption. If the campaign is anywhere near as good as the multiplayer, then the team will have made their best Halo game to date.